Hi everybody, welcome back to JD Does Dev. I'm JD, and in this video we're going to continue our Docksal training by starting with the boilerplate. These boilerplates are available from the Docksal repo and as part of installing a Docksal project on your system. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we talked about installing Docksal, we got it running, we've got the system started, and we checked some information with finsys-info. Now we're going to start a brand new project. And the easiest way to do that is to start with a new project. So if you've been following along, you probably already have your projects folder. But if not, then let's go ahead and create it. So I'm in my projects folder already, and all that we need to do is run fin project create. Now, this is going to give us a chance to name our project. As you can see, there are a few limitations here, only alphanumeric underscore and hyphen. We don't want to use anything that could be taken as a wildcard or cause issues with the bash scripting. But let's name it something simple. So my first Docksal application. And you can name it whatever you want. Now this should bring up a prompt to choose a type of project. And we're going to start with a static HTML site. However, as you can see, we got quite a few options here. I'm going to start with number 18, static HTML site. Now that's going to give us a chance to verify our information. Yes, this is where we want to have our project. We want it plain HTML. We're not using a repo. And we're just going to visit it at my first Docksal application.docksal. So yes, let's proceed. Now a couple things are going to happen now. Starting it, we're pulling down all the images that we need for this to work. And that's what all this is doing. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, the next step. Okay, we've gone ahead. And as you can see on my terminal, I have a timer set. So from the time I ran the last command, inputted all the information and spun up and pulled down all the images that we needed. It took just over 2 minutes, not all that long. And we're going to take a look at what's in our folder. And you can see we have our Docksal training Docker from earlier and this new folder, my first Docksal application. In addition, once everything was pulled down and installed, created the CLI and the web. Since this is a static HTML project, we didn't need to pull down a database or set that up. Connected to vhost proxy using my first Docksal application default network, and we got a couple URLs here. So let's go ahead and open those up. Copy this. Going to head over to our browser. Now in really tiny letters up top there, we have Hello Docksal. Not much to see, but as you can see, an entire web server is now running without having to configure any Apache, PHP, or any other part of a server stack. So let's go back and take a quick look at our app. Okay, here we are in VS Code. So I'm going to open up the different folders we've got here. Pretty simple. We've got the Docksal folder with the docksal.env file and docksal.yaml, and dockroot, which just has an index.html file. So as you can see, if you're familiar with HTML, that's it. Hello Docksal. In here, we have our environment variables. Now this says which stack we're using, which is default no database. That's great for a standard static HTML. On Docksal YAML, it's pretty wide open. We don't have anything here. It's just saying if we want to add stuff in, we're using version 2.1. Now there are plenty of reasons that we don't want to leave an app running after we're done using it. So it's pretty simple to bring that down. Back in my project folder, we're going to go into my first Docksal application. We're going to run fin project stop. And that's going to spin down all the containers that we've got going, which the web one and CLI one. Now, we can clean it up if we're done with this project. We don't want to work with it anymore. We don't need the storage anymore by running fin project remove. And that's going to go through and delete all containers and all volumes. So everything got removed here. The CLI and web container, the network, and the volumes, but it didn't remove Docksal SSH agent because that's external. That's one of our system services, not a project service. So they skipped that. Now, if we had multiple projects and Docksal removed this service, the SSH agent service, while another project was running, then it could cause serious issues with the entire workflow and trying to figure out what happened. So, in summary, creating an application with its own code, domain, and server in Docksal is pretty simple. With the available boilerplates, we have our choice of over a dozen starting points. In the next video, we're going to spin up a fully functional Drupal site and look at some of the customizations Docksal does to run your applications. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'm JD, and this is JD Does Dev. Remember, if there are any questions that you have or any comments that you'd like to leave, go ahead and leave them in the bottom. Also, if you don't mind, go ahead and click that like button and that subscribe button and keep this channel going. Thanks, and see you on the next one.